Hello and welcome to the last lecture of the class. I want to talk about children's books as a radical act. This is a quote from Maya Gonzalez. I believe that creating children's books has the potential to be one of the most radical things you can do. It's a powerful tool for social change. This is Maya Gonzalez again. Children's books offer the potential to engage all of our creative facilities to transfer the stories we, as people of color, queer, or indigenous people, heard as children that often did not include us. Using a holistic approach, creating children's books can heal and strengthen the creator as much as the reader. I'm with that, but I also believe that reading and sharing female led, people of color led, disability led, LGBTQ led children's books with the intent of changing the narrative of our society is a radical act. That's a mouthful, right? So, sharing diverse children's books with the intent of helping to get rid of sexist, ableist, racist, LGBTQist thoughts and actions in our society will help change the world. And this means this is truly a radical act. Because remember this, right? By the time kids are 5 years old, they already are hardwired to be racist, sexist, ableist, LGBTQ phobia, just intolerant of everything, right? High levels of it. And where do they get it? They get it from their world, their parents, their schools, the media. But if we can reach them at an early age, kaboomy, we can help children reject all of the isms and ists and help foster equity, right? Help with that. Kids can do that. They're smart enough to do that. So this is some statistics from 2018 in terms of diversity in children's books. You'll see that. Pretty scant for some of our citizens, right? Stuffed animals and rule over other creatures in our world. Here's a more updated and pretty easy to read chart that is reflecting what kinds of books are published, what's out there to share with our children, the current books. We already know a lot about the other books that are out there, right? The ones we've talked about all semester and some of the harm that those kinds of books can do. But fairly latest figures show that it's still not looking that good in terms of representation. But we look across the board. What's 41, almost 42% bingo, white characters, main characters in books, right? Then let's see, what's the next highest? Ooh, animals and other. Then we look at all of our people of color. We look at disability. We look at LGBTQ plus, and we see not so good, not so great. And we throw gender into it, even though there's hardly ever updated statistics regarding the representation of females in children's books. You get an idea from this 2017 study that is still looking pretty bad, that females are outnumbered, and we're not even doing a breakdown of color or ability or anything here. It's just that, still underrepresented females overall in children's books. And you wonder why. Well, we know because of some of the messages that children receive and that we receive, that we live in a very stereotypical world, right? And who's running this? Who runs the world? Well, if you look at who's the publishers, who's picking the books, editing the books, and deciding what books are going to be out there for children, here you got it. This is from 2019 and talks about that, okay, people encouraging buying, selling the books, 76% white, right? 74% cisgender, so just kind of regular, heteronormative sort of, or considered regular, heteronormative, the role model sort of woman. 81% straight and 89% non-disabled. So what we have is a dominant culture idea out there. They're the ones that are disseminating the books that children read. I mean, we look at some of the smaller numbers when we look at race. 1% Middle Eastern, 1% American Indian. I mean, it's just crazy when we look at orientation. So 81% straight and heterosexual. So we've just got some real dominant culture ideas out there. But the books are out there, right? They're out there. They're out there. You just got to dig a little deeper. And you got to look with a critical eye, right? Because it's so important that we flip this whole thing, that we disrupt the idea of what our society is. Because our society is. It's out there already as it is. Let's get books out to our children and to the adults that work with children and show them that we can flip things a little bit and be much more embracive of what our society truly is. That sounds kind of like a little speech. And here's why it's so important, because books have the power to shape and shift how children view the world. And that means the world can change, right? If we take the blinders off, the world can change. The books are out there. Some fabulous ones out there. But you got to look carefully and discern, because there are some bad books out there too, right? It's quite promising, you got to admit. So we talked about how Dr. Rudine Sims Bishop coined this whole concept of what would help our world be a better place, really. That's my summation of it, that children need books that are mirrors, right? That allow them to see themselves and their own experiences. They need books that are windows that they can look through to see other worlds that they can compare to their own, right? And they need sliding glass doors that allow them to enter other worlds. So we got the mirrors, we got the windows, we have the sliding glass doors. But one of the articles that you read talked about this. Books that serve as sliding glass doors are somewhat akin to a window experience, but with a key difference. The reader is changed by the book. So that this is from Empower the Reader. I think it's so cool to think about. It's like you go through that sliding glass door and you are changed. You are changed by what you read in that book. So Ferrari noted that when people think critically about their world, they are poised to intervene actively in reality and are carried along in the wake of the change. Whoa, that was a lot. I'm not going to even repeat it. So the deal is that when you read that book and you move through that sliding glass door, that you are a changed person. A kid, but a changed person, whoever's reading that book. And that you have the ability to take that changed person of you and help do things to change the world, to take action and make the world a better place, right? I mean, kids do it pretty easily without our influence. But the really cool thing about diverse children's books, I think, is that they can help change people's minds. They can help undo some of the harm that's been done by stereotyping. And they can help make the changes that need to be made. That's when children's books become a radical act, right? Because we know that diverse children's books help children see themselves and see others and take some action as children or as adults. We've seen some examples in this class. Yeah. But things change, right? Things are changing. And I really believe that by allowing us to have more access to diverse children's books and disperse them through the world and really use them to help create thoughtful and loving individuals, that we can and do make changes. It's my favorite quote. Some things one can see for oneself, other things depend on the telling of the tale. And we know the tales are important. The tales that are told to children are important. I love that. We realize the importance of our voices only when we are silenced, right? Or not included. Not considered part of the narrative. But diverse children's books shove that reality right into our faces, quite literally, right? That we can use children's books as a culturally responsive tool, a tool that empowers teachers and students and parents and librarians and politicians and everybody else to create a caring culture in a world that is thankfully filled with diversity and differences. So these books, children's books, diverse children's books, radical children's books, they're a tool that can help save the world, right? So here we are.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
Yeah, right? For everyone. Yep, we don't need another mountain. Well, we could use some mountains, but we could use some diverse children's literature to make sure that we are doing everything we can do to get this world in better shape. Whew. I hope that didn't sound too lectury. You know, I'm pretty passionate about all this stuff. I think there's more power in diverse children's books than a solar eclipse. I do indeed. So thank you for listening to me, and get out there and help save the world. Grab a children's book. You can do it. Thanks.